Hi there, UK Girl in SF here. So, do you like to eat out? Because I know I do. And San Francisco is full of so many restaurants that cover every type of taste. So you can't go wrong here. But there are some things to remember. And the etiquette is slightly different from eating out in England to eating out here. And these are just my general observations. As I like to say, not wrong, just different. So the first thing, there might be a party of 4 of you in a restaurant. You will not get your food all at the same time. Now, in my experience, it might only be 2 plates that come out and the other 2 guests are still waiting. So you have to decide, do you let your food get cold while you wait for the other food to arrive, or do you get stuck in? That's one thing to remember. In England, I remember they would bring all 4 plates out at the same time. The other thing is when they take the plates away. Now, again, in England, they would wait till everyone in the party had finished eating, clear them. Here, not so much. There might be 2 of you that have finished. They will take those plates away while the other 2 are still eating. So that was a hard adjustment for me. The other thing to remember is the food might not be piping hot. Now, I think this is because a lot of restaurants pre-make their food, and then when a customer orders it, they just plonk it in the microwave and hit the nuke button. I've lost count of how many times I've sent my food back to be reheated. It's quite hot on the outside, but as you get further in, it's just barely warm, and that's a big no-no for me. Another thing to remember is a lot of Americans tend to eat their food with just their fork. And the only exception is they'll use the knife for cutting meat, but then they'll cut their food with their fork. And if you're in a deli downtown, and you decide to take something to go, a hot food to go, you might just get a plastic fork. So bear that in mind. And unfortunately, I have now adopted the habit of cutting my food with my fork. It's not a bad habit, but it's just so different from England for me. Another thing to remember is waiters and waitresses work for minimum wage, so it is advisable to tip them. And that brings me to one of my last points, which is in San Francisco, they adopted a program called San Francisco Healthy Living. And this was because a lot of restaurants could not afford to pay the medical benefits for their staff. So when you get the bill, or the check as they like to call it here, look at the bottom. If they take part in this plan, it will indicate that on the check. So you're paying for your food, you're getting taxed on it, and then there's a little bit extra added on for the healthy plan. Not every restaurant in San Francisco takes part, but it is advisable to take a note of that. All right, so I think that's it. I've covered everything. Please check out my other videos on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. This is UK Girl in SF, sounding out and signing off.